we will start the second unit of the consumer electronics and troubleshooting subject. In this video, we will cover loudspeaker and its characteristics and also the loudspeaker construction. So let's start.
Good morning, students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself, Dr. Shantini Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor of EC Department, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Kattankudagur, Chennai. Today, I am going to start a new topic of the consumer electronics is loudspeaker, and also I will going to explain its loudspeaker's characteristics. Okay. So, what is loudspeaker? Loudspeaker is actually a device that convert electrical audio signal into a sound, making it possible for people to hear recorded or broadcast audio. So, this is basically a you can say a transducer. It converts the electrical signal into a a sound signal. Okay, so if you see my previous videos, I have already covered the microphone is just opposite. Okay, it actually convert the sound wave into the electrical signal. Okay, so here it is just the opposite of the microphone. Okay, in the case of loudspeaker, it converts the electrical signals into a sound signal. I think everybody's home nowadays, the loudspeaker you have, all of you know the basic thing. Okay, so it is basically used, all of you know, that home studios, television, smartphone, public address system, and also concert areas. Okay, so what is the ideal loudspeaker? Ideal loudspeaker is actually used as a benchmark to evaluate real world speaker. Okay, but usually we cannot get this type of ideal loudspeaker, so we are trying to achieve as much as possible to hold the ideal loudspeaker characteristics. So it is referred to a speaker that perfectly reproduces the input audio signal without introducing any distortion, correlation or delay. Okay, but I have already said exact ideal loudspeaker is not possible, little bit difficulties are there, so we are trying to achieve as much as possible to reach the ideal loudspeaker characteristics. So now these are some characteristics. This is very important for your question answers also. What is the ideal loudspeaker and what is the ideal loudspeaker characteristics? So first of all, one by one I will explain. Flat frequency response. What is a flat frequency response? Meaning that means it produces all frequencies equally without boosting or cutting any frequency range. So if you see the output characteristics of this ideal loudspeaker, then you can see that time versus frequency, that means the frequency range, entire output frequency amplitude will be totally flat. Okay, so no variation is there. So that means it ensures the accurate sound production across bass, mid-range and treble. That means in the low frequency, medium frequency and also in the high frequency range. Okay, so wide frequency range, that means what is the frequency range of the ideal loudspeakers? So it actually covers the in a very large frequency range, almost from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Okay, so almost this is the human beings audible range. Okay, so this is the so we can say this is a very large frequency range. So then the no distortion, so actually it should introduce that means zero harmonic, intermodulation or phase distortion. Okay, so that means there will be no distortion happens during the when signal carrying from input side to output side. Okay, so output waveform should be perfect replica of the input waveform. Okay, then perfect transient response. Perfect transient response means it is able to respond instantly to changes in the input signal. So if there is any changes in the input signal, we can directly shows in the output signal as the same change. Okay, uniform dispersion, it should be projected equally in all direction. That means wherever the ripples are there in any direction, it can actually produce the from every direction people can hear the voice equally. Okay, so that means no significant change in tone with listener's position. Okay, Next one, high sensitivity and efficiency. That means it converts more electrical energy into sound energy. Okay, and it requires less amplifier power for a given output volume. Okay. Next, no resonance or coloration. That means speaker structure and components should not add their own sound. That means it is very important for uh, getting a very good loudspeaker. Okay. Time and phase accuracy, all frequencies arrive at the listener's ear in synchronizingly, maintaining the spatial and imaging accuracy. Okay. Perfect impedance matching, that means it present a constant impedance to the amplifier, making it easy to drive without electrical any differences. If there will be some not there will be a constant impedance, there will be a problem for producing the sound properly. Okay. So now next part is what is the very important part of the loudspeaker, that is its working principle. So how basically loudspeaker basically works. So before going to explain the principle, first of all of you look at this picture. Okay. So what is in this picture? So there is a, you can see there is a electrical signal. This is a AC signal. Okay. So this AC signal is going through this path, and this that means orange color. This is actually coil, is called the voice coil. Okay. It is wound around the some former. Okay, former, or you can say bobbin. Okay, centrally there was one rectangular shape one thing is there, it is called the permanent magnet. Okay, then one this shape is called the cone, and there is one diaphragm is attached. Okay, so and there from there you can say that there is a sound wave is coming. So how it actually works, so now I am explaining. So first of all, so electrical signal is passing through this wire, and then it goes through the this voice coil. Okay, and there is already one permanent magnet is there. So if there is a permanent magnet is there, definitely some static magnetic field is there, and when this electrical signal passing through this coil, they are produced, as it is a AC signal, they are produced the electrical signal, as it is a passing through this coil, produces a varying magnetic field, and this varying magnetic field and this static magnetic, due to this varying magnetic field and static magnetic field interaction, coil, that means this voice coil will continuously vibrate in the back and forth direction, and with this coil a diaphragm is attached. This is made of very thin sheet or paper. Okay, so this paper or this diaphragm, whatever you say, so it will also starts vibrating because it is connected with the voice coil. So when voice coil is continuously vibrating, which is connected to the diaphragm, it is also continuously vibrating back and forth direction. So what will happen, due to this purpose a sound wave is coming at that side. So now one by one I am explaining each and every point. I think now you can easily understand. So electrical signal input and audio signal is sent to the loudspeaker. So audio signal is sent to the loudspeaker, magnet and voice coil. The current flows through a voice coil. Orange color is actually a voice coil that is placed within a magnetic field generated by the magnet. I have already said inside this blue colored one is actually a permanent magnet. So as permanent magnet is there, definitely some magnetic field is already generated. So that around the permanent magnet one voice coil is there. Okay, the interaction between, so when the current is flowing through this coil, they are also producing some vibrate, that means alternating by magnetic field. Interaction between the electrical current and magnetic field causes the coil and attached diaphragm to move back and forth. Okay, sound waves. This movement pushes and pulls air, creating sound waves that our ears can detect. So this is very important question for any type of exam. Okay, what is the working principle of the loudspeaker? Next, we are going to the three functional parts of the loudspeaker. One is electromagnetic part, second one mechanical part, and third one acoustic part. So, what is electromagnetic part? So, you can say there is some electrical component is there, definitely will be there, and also some magnetic component, magnetic part is also will be there. So, what is this? Just consists of a voice coil and the field magnet, or you can say permanent magnet. Okay, that means permanent magnet actually generates the magnetic field, and audio frequency signal or electrical signal when it passes through the coil causes some mechanical motion of the diaphragm on which it is mounted. This part is often referred to as the driver or motor of the system. So it is actually the part of the electromagnetic part. Then mechanical part, that means as voice coil is also connected some component, and when it is actually do the interaction, it is continuously move back and forth. So this is the part of mechanical part. Okay, that means on which the driving coil is used, usually mounted, and which is set into the mechanical motion by the audio frequency electrical current in the driving coil. And acoustic part, what it is actually due to this all combination, that means voice coils and permanent magnet, back and forth movement of sound wave is generated. So this is actually the part of the acoustic part that transmit the sound energy developed by the mechanical part of the area served by the system. Okay, then speakers type. So different speakers are basically developed from the earlier days. So previously the inventors use the horn type of speakers. So you can see this horn type of speakers. If you see the previous, when actually telephone was just invented, at that time we used a telephone in this way. There is some horn type of speaker will be there. So in this way basically we hear the voices. Okay, so so what are this was, first of all, the first speaker design was simply a large horn type attached to an original telephone earphone. These speakers had fairly good volume, but frequency response was poor. So they basically converted in the vibrating reed. It is actually at that time diaphragm was not invented. So instead of diaphragm, basically they had used the vibrating reeds. The free end of the reed was attached to a speaker cone, and reeds of vibration caused the whole cone to the vibrate. Its working principle is almost similar to the diaphragm. Then the third type of speaker has a balanced pivoted armature located between a pair of magnets. Okay, electrical impulses through the magnet coils caused up and down vibration. The armature movement was mechanically coupled to the speaker's cone, thus producing the sound. What is loudspeaker? Just with a briefly I can explain that it is a transducer that converts the electrical audio signal to a sound waves. Okay, so through this figure we can explain how basically loudspeaker works. So here you can see there is a magnet is there. Okay, this is a permanent magnet, and one voice coil is there, which is wound on this board. Okay, or you can, as example, I can say there is a one yellow color box is there, and coil is wound on it. It is made of coil is made up of copper or sometimes aluminum. Okay, just above the coil there is one diaphragm is there. This is made up of very thin sheet or paper, and this is a cone like structure or a speaker. Okay, so when this audio signal is coming through this yellow path, then there it goes through the coil. Okay, so as there is a magnet is there, definitely there will be a permanent magnetic field will be there. Okay, now when audio signal is passes through this coil, due to this electrical signal when passes through the coil, then produce the varying magnetic field, and due to this varying magnetic field and static magnetic field, this coil are continuously attract and repelled by the permanent magnet. Okay, so due to that, our coil is continuously move back and forth direction. So just above the coil there is a diaphragm is attached, so as it is attached with the coil, so it will also continuously vibrate with the coil. So due to that back and forth movement, a sound wave is coming through this speaker. So this is the main working principle of the loudspeaker. Okay, now what is its construction? This is very important part. So before going to understand its working principle, I think this is the most important part to understand, because without knowing what is inside in it, so working principle is nothing. So what is construction? So this is a figure where I am explaining each and every parts of this loudspeaker. So first of all, this is actually the cone or speaker. There is actually there is a diaphragm. Okay, is actually convert the motion of voice coil into sound waves. Already I said that how actually this sound was coming from the voice coil. So it is made up of very lightweight but rigid materials like paper, plastic or composites. Okay, then dust cap. Dust cap is just inside this one. This is actually prevent the basically prevent the voice coil from the any dust or contamination. Okay. Then surround. Surround is what? This one is actually, this is actually the surround part. A flexible ring at the outer edge of the cone. Okay. It connects the cone to the frame, allows for smooth vibration and controls cone movement to prevent distortion. Okay, this is actually a ring type to help for movement purpose. Okay, spider is actually this one yellow. This construction is actually the spider. It is actually a flexible corrugated disc under the cone that keeps the voice coil centered while allowing vertical movement. So basically it is used, that is when vertical is continuously movement, if it is not slipped, so for this purpose spider is basically used to hold the voice coil during the movement in a particular direction. Okay, so it helpful, very helpful during the movement time. So voice coil is this one orange type of color, is actually a voice coil. It tightly wound copper wire attached to the diaphragm. When current passes through it, it moves due to the interaction with magnetic field, causes the diaphragm to vibrate. Then coming to the top plate. Okay, before coming to the top plate, first of all, magnet assembly. Okay, just I am going to the previous slide. So here you can see this is one plate. Then there is a brown color ring is there. Then another this blue color this cylinder, and then this is a backplate. So this entire part is actually the magnet assembly. This is the front plate, this is the magnet, this is the pole piece, and this is the backplate. One by one I am coming all the parts. Okay, so top plate, it converts the magnet and shapes the magnetic gap. Okay, helps create a narrow uniform magnetic field where the coil moves. Okay, next coming to the magnet assembly, it includes, already I said, permanent magnet, pole piece, top plate, and also the back plate also. Okay, creates a focused steady magnetic field where the coil moves. Okay, pole piece, which one is pole piece? Pole piece is actually this one, this cylindrical one. Okay, so what is the significance of this pole piece? This is the central part of the magnetic structure that enhances the magnetic flux in the voice coil gap and helps focus the field. Okay, usually made of soft iron. Then basket, that means is actually the frame of that entire structure. Okay, it is made of steel or cast aluminium that supports all other component. Okay, gasket, all of you know, this is little bit soft ring to actually seal the air properly. Okay, so it is actually a soft ring attached to the outer edge of the frame for proper sealing when mounted in an enclosure. Then terminal post electrical connection point where the amplifier connects to send audio signal to the voice coil. Okay, so this is the entire construction of the loudspeaker. Thank you so much for keep watching my videos. If you have any doubt, give me this your questions in the comment section. I hope I'll try to solve your questions. Thank you so much. Keep watching.